The patch notes for the next major update coming to Splatoon 3 have officially been posted by Nintendo, so we're going to be taking a look through all of them here within this video. This is the latest update, version 9.0.0, which will be releasing on August 29th. Might depend on where you are, your time zone, it might be the 30th for some of you, but yeah, generally the same sort of time we expect the updates to release. Changes to Amiibo. Added support for the following Amiibo: Callie, Alterna, Marie, Alterna, Pearl, Side Order, and Marina, Side Order. Moving on, we have some changes to connectivity. Improved connectivity programming to shorten the time between data being received by recipients and the response that is then returned. Sorry, that sentence really stumbled me up there for some reason. For general connectivity during multiplayer, an average reduction of approximately 0.4 of a second is expected. The amount of reduction will vary depending on the amount of information being sent back and forth via connectivity on the processing load. In situations such as dealing damage or defeating opponents, an average reduction of approximately 3.4 of a second is expected. This is really interesting. It's kind of complicated. I'm not quite sure exactly how to understand what they're describing here. Some people might have a better analysis for this. I really don't have one right now. But I do generally feel like any improvements to connectivity are a good thing. I'm just not sure these will be majorly noticed by people. We'll just have to wait and see. Changes to multiplayer, so we have some specifications for some main weapons have changed. Squeezer and Foil Squeezer. Slowed the speed of the first shot fired after pressing the ZR button by approximately 5% and shortened its flight distance. Slowed movement speed while firing by approximately 8%. So a nerf here for these two weapons. Nintendo did warn us that lots of nerfs would be coming, so it seems like that's what we're going to be seeing here. Range Blaster and Custom Range Blaster. Decrease the radius of the damaging explosion by approximately 6%. Decrease the radius of the ink splatter at the point of impact with a floor or wall, or when detonated midair by approximately 9%. Snipe Rifle 5H and Snipe Rifle 5B. Slightly decrease the width of spray droplets created by shots. Slosher, Slosher Deco, Order Slosher, and Replica. Sorry, Order Slosher Replica, that's not its own thing. Increase the amount of ink consumed by approximately 9%. Heavy Edit Splatling, Heavy Edit Splatling Nouveau. Slightly decrease the number of spray droplets created by shots. The frequency of inking occurring at the player's feet is unchanged. Wellstring V and Custom Wellstring V. Decrease the radius of the ink splatter that occurs upon impact by approximately 8%. So some very interesting nerfs there. You'll have to let me know what you think about these down in the comment section below. As I said, Nintendo did warn us this was coming, so we'll see if there's any others here. Specifications for some special weapons have changed. Trizooka. Increase the amount of time between activation and becoming able to fire by approximately 1/12 of a second. So a little nerf there for Trizooka. I'm not sure how impactful that'll be, 1/12 of a second. I guess we'll have to wait and see, but I'm sure that people who use Trizooka a lot will definitely notice it. Points required for some special weapons have changed, so as you can see, you will need more points to get your special off for the Custom Range Blaster, the Slosher, and the Order Slosher Replica, so keep that in mind. In X Battles, made it less likely for players to be matched again with players they just encountered in the previous X Battle. This will not completely prevent players from being matched again with players they just encountered in the X Battle. This seems like a really good change, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people have complaints about X Battle. I'm not really sure if this is one of the main ones that people have been giving, but I do feel like any sort of changes like this are definitely a step in the right direction. So kind of facing you up against more unique players is probably a good thing, to be honest with you. You don't want to be going up against a certain player every time who's got you kind of figured out and is just going to absolutely destroy you every time, I guess. Made it so that Japan and regions near it cannot select Tensatech Vision when selecting an X Battles division. That is really interesting, so yeah, that seems like quite a significant change to me, to be honest with you. I don't know how that will impact things, but I guess people who are in the Tensatech division will no longer be able to play with those in Japan. That is really interesting. Now, moving on. Changes to Splatfest. Made it possible for players who achieve a Splatfest title of ruler or higher to board the Splatfest float and take pictures with the allies they last won a Splatfest battle, open, or Splatfest Pro with. So it seems like this won't just be joining the stage in the Grand Festival, it seems like this will be a future Splatfest feature as well. We do know that some of the special Splatfests are getting repeats, so that's why they're still adding features like this now, because even though the Grand Festival is technically the final fest, it's not the final Splatfest in the game. Made it so that players can choose additional poses from atop the Splatfest float after achieving a Splatfest title of Ruler +1 or higher. As I've said in previous videos, I really enjoy the fact that they've added this. I think it's a great little change, definitely a nice feature improvement. Made it possible to select a deep cut pose atop the Splatfest float. Made it possible for players who have downloaded the expansion pass to select Squid Sisters and off the hook poses atop the Splatfest float. So some nice extra content there for people who have the DLC, a nice reward for owning that. Good to see. Changes to Salmon Run. Added data for a special big run. Added an item that can be exchanged for fish scales. I wonder exactly what that is going to be. This definitely wasn't expected. Just one new item that can be exchanged for fish scales. I wonder if it's something they've forgotten before. Made it so that you can get capsules containing fish scales from the reward meter. There is no way. Okay, the chances of that must be really low, but that is a fantastic change. That is great. Even if it's just mostly bronze ones, that is still really amazing news. Okay, that is a great update. Was not expecting to see that. I loved that. The gear you get for the reward meter will now change each shift rather than each month. So yeah, no more new gear for Salmon Run. We basically already knew that was happening, sadly. But, you know, at least it'll give people a chance to get all of the new gear and stuff. So it's not completely bad in my opinion. Other changes. Reduce the XP required for a weapon's freshness to reach 1 star from 10,000 to 5,000 to make it easier to get Sheldon licenses. That's a good little quality of life upgrade. I like that. The total XP required to reach 2 star or higher will not change. Weapons that had 5,000 XP or more but less than 10,000 before applying the update data will reach 1 star after applying the update data and using that weapon once in battle. So yeah, it's going to be even easier to get those Sheldon licenses, which is fantastic, especially seeing as they're not really going to be adding any new weapons at this point. At least we'll be able to collect all the existing ones. Change the designs of some splash tag banner designs. Now I believe this is the jackpot banner. They did confirm they would be changing the design, so it seems like that is exactly what they've done. Now, they say this update focuses on adding data for a special big run that'll be held in the near future, improving connectivity and making adjustments to battles. In regards to connectivity, we have reduced the time it takes to convey the things that happen in-game to the other players by optimizing the game's internal processing and adjusting the communication control processing. For multiplayer balance, we have made the changes that we previously notified you about to lower the performance of some weapons. The Squeezer and Foil Squeezer were intended as weapons that are difficult to master but can produce high performance when mastered. However, because their shots could reach from a long distance and because they had high movement speed when firing, it was easy to make a lot of attempts, which made it easier to make up for control difficulty. For that reason, their performance has been reduced. For the custom range blaster and the range blaster and the custom range blaster, by reducing the area of the attack and inking due to the explosion, we maintained the property dealing damage to opponents you aim for carefully, while reducing the property that deals damage to opponents whose positions are not precisely known. Our intention with both weapons is to make it so players who specialize in other weapons are not forced to switch these weapons, while also maintaining a level of performance sufficient enough for players who are already specialized in these weapons to continue to fight using them. For the Snipe Rider 5H and the Snipe Rider 5B, we slightly reduced their ability to maintain Inkling status from a distance. With the Slosher, Slosher Deco, and Order Slosher Replica, we have adjusted performance and points required for specials to make them like many other Sloshers in that they have high instantaneous fighting and inking power, but when fighting with them continuously over time, it is easy to run out of ink. Regarding the Heavy Edit Splatling and Heavy Edit Splatling Nouveau, we changed the aspect of them where, in comparison with other Splatlings with shorter flying distances, they were effective at maintaining ink coverage when exchanging fire across such areas as splat zones. For the Wellstring V and Custom Wellstring V, we made changes to slightly lower performance when maintaining inking status from a distance. With the Trizuka, we have made changes to increase the opening when used on an opponent at close range. Also slightly increase the time to find a safe space to take cover after hearing an opponent's Trizuka activation noise. Additionally, we have changes to Japan and regions nearby cannot participate in the 10 to Tech division for X battles. Of the total number of players in Japan and nearby regions, an extremely small percent select 10 to Tech division, a division for the Americas and Europe, despite living in Japan or nearby regions. However, we've made this change because it has reached a percentage that has a negative effect on rankings among players participating in the 10 to Tech division. So yeah, that is a really interesting change. I feel like that is going to be, one that's going to get a lot of discussion in the community. That seems pretty significant to X Battles, so definitely some important changes and significant ones for X Battles within this update. The next update will focus on adding data for the Grand Festival. So this is really weird. The Grand Festival is obviously the most major thing happening in the next update. But here's the thing. It very much seems like Nintendo has not wanted to add any of that within this update, because they probably don't want data miners to find it and share it all before it happens. So another update will be coming very soon, within the next 2 weeks basically, which is pretty unprecedented aside from the kind of bug fix updates. So yeah, the next update will be a very significant one in its own right, because it'll be adding all that data. And that highly suggests there are probably a lot of surprises in the Grand Festival that Nintendo does not want spoiled at all. So we have another exciting update to look forward to, and this one alone I feel like was pretty decent, We all knew that this was not going to be a, what is it called? Is this the Drizzles? Yeah, it's the Drizzle season. We knew this wasn't going to be a Drizzle season update, that's over now. But still, there's a lot in here, a lot of quality of life upgrades and other important changes and balances. I'm pretty happy with this. It's just interesting that the Grand Festival data isn't here. If we do discover any more, I'll let you know in the comments section down below, but there's going to be plenty to cover with this one. Let me know your thoughts, I would love to hear. If you made it to the end, comment Splat Gang so I know you did, and make sure to like and subscribe for more.